So when we're inside of a space, you want to keep it running while we're in that space. If you try to hit the record button and then you, like, because you think you saw something, it's already gone. So just keep it running while we're here. Before we leave, and I'll regroup us again, I'll say go ahead and give your hands a break and turn it off. And you know what I mean? It's not to say battery, it's more about you. I don't want you being that YouTuber all night long.
So does she move around or does she stay?
It's completely up to her, honestly. Like, we're going to stay here for a few minutes so I can give you the history of why we're here. And then we're going to spread out. And then what happens when we spread out is I do a round robin with everybody to kind of see what's going on. And if I can see like that we actually have a good presence tonight, then I will do one more round robin and write all the notes down and then regroup us. We do not stay here for a long period of time, and you'll see why once we kind of get things rolling. So anything at this point? All right, so definitely shout them out with your Tourette syndrome as well.
All right.
So I will take interruptions.
You said anything about 2.5?
I hear 811.
Yes, we're in a new space and keep it
811.
going. Okay. So what I mean by keep it going is if you get a 5, don't give me anything below that 5.
Got it. All right.
And you see what I mean? That way I don't have a whole notebook full of notebooks. Alright, so welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats, you made it. So, I told you, I take you to weird spaces. But this place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. Now, all of those, most of you with communication devices, this is where I stop giving you all of the clues. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse. Okay, so you're going to get the answers from your communication devices. So, who the hell were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. If Lynda hears the name Charles, I'm hoping you're going to tell me which one it is, because all 3 of them are completely different men. So they all have different attributes, but the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you here. So we're going to move on. If I don't give them that recognition, they will normally do it for me and a very nasty message on our recordings. So I've seen it and heard it in the past. So just take that for
dad?
He and his dad? Is that what you heard? Okay.
That's speculation.
And this is normally what will happen too. So one person with the spirit box will kind of have their Tourette syndrome, and then everybody all of a sudden wants to tell me what's going on with their devices. So if I pull out my notebook, that's usually when I'm like, okay, we actually have something. So now that I know she can hear things, I'm not going to be writing down every little thing that she says.
Okay.
It's going to be mainly about like what's going on. With yours, different story because it's a 75% chance.
Yeah.
Back to the Pinckneys. We're going to talk about Eliza, much better history.
Okay, that's scary.
Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days of when she got married, like 12 and 14, right? That's when young ladies got married. Believe it or not, she'd be married already. So with that, think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. So kind of a creepy age gap back then, it's a creepy age gap now. But anyway, so you can ask that question once we get things rolling. But she married him because her father was over in England, and the father thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time. He wants to see his kids before he goes. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying. She stays put right where you're standing and gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, by the way. Nothing gory, nothing, no love affair, no
divorce?
No foul play, no divorce, no anything. True love story. So, she just heard the word divorce. But no divorce. Death. That's what happened. I know, right? Again, so don't poke the bear about the marriage, because again, true love story. You are on the wrong screen. So
What?
Hit your stop button.
Or record.
Green screen with a purple stick. That's what we're
Green
looking
screen.
for. Okay, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. You guys have been in town for a day. He sent her the plant seeds of indigo. So indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. So if you've been in town for more than a day, you've seen the word indigo somewhere. So she didn't know what to do with those seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. So when she figured it out, which by the way, it's not always hot here, obviously. So she figured that out. She learned how to make the dye right here, and then moved it to a cash crop down by the Stono River. Got a hold of Dad and said, rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. I tried to breeze through it for the teens, so that's where we can get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. All right, so I'm going to kind of basically give you guys a set of focal questions. And again, this is, you can ask things out loud, you can just focus on it, that's perfectly fine too, but I also want you to keep in mind there are 4 communication devices out here. plus a video camera, plus my voice recorder. If you ask a question, that answer can go to any one of those 6 devices. Again, that's why I love to have a minimum, even if it was just 2 people, if it was just the 2 of you, we would have 2 pieces of communication to verify the other thing is being heard. And it would actually probably be those exact 2 things. So let's kind of go through this. You're going to actually have a focal question set of Eliza's death. So she's pretty open about talking about it. So the 4 major things that we get the answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Exactly. That doesn't tell you how important this young lady is. I don't know what will. Your set of questions are going to kind of go right in line with our Ouija board device. So Mandy, you might want to see how this works out too. So Eliza that I just told you about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So kind of a jerk move if you really think about it. So yeah, first wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L, as did the second. So the nice thing that we can do is try to figure out which Eliza we're dealing with. Let's move towards me a little bit. There's only one entrance and exit to this location. So you are going to be asking which Eliza we're dealing with by asking for the maiden name specifically. You're going to be looking for those initials, ELP. So, because both of them are ELP. But hopefully we get the clarification out of your device, or maybe even Lynda's device. We never know. You both can actually ask about what happened to the mansion as well, because it's obviously not here anymore. So just kind of keep that in mind. That is going to be your direct set of questions. Is
You got Washington?
You heard Washington?
I did.
There's your pallbearer question, everybody. Can't make this stuff up. Wow. Good job.
One of the,
Nice
one of
work,
the questions
Lynda.
was there was a
And
president
I
that
never
was a
asked
pulpit.
it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I said it.
Yeah,
4.2.
and it just said Washington.
What did it say?
4.2.
4.2. Nothing below that at this point. The mansion's not here, really. So
Your mom and your...
unless you can see it, that I can't, right? So you can ask what happened to it, just like they can. But with yours specifically, I also want you to ask when that happened. It's some type of tragedy, but I'm looking for the date.
Okay.
So again, yours normally gives us like 1 to 2
21.
syllables at a time. 21. Did you hear anything just now?
Your mom.
Wow. That's a bad
That was a good one.
Yes.
And then you said there's more.
I'm sure there is. Wow. So obviously the very specific date. Keep in mind that you're going to tell me all of the things that you guys hear, because we never know where the answers are going to go with things. Obviously we already have the pallbearer answer. The funny thing is I normally use that as kind of like a little subliminal joke. I'll tell you about that once before we leave the space. So I am going to keep Mandy behind so I can show her more about that device. We do have somebody like leaning up against their car over there, so definitely stay clear of them, especially on your end, just because I don't want him to think that you're filming him.
Okay.
So definitely stick next to Dad if you don't mind.
I don't want
at
to
this
be
point.
beat
So
up.
you kind of stick together and listen in, because I figure you all 3 have different devices, so you can help listen in and kind of see what's going on with the camera. But if you wanted to basically start to spread out and just listen in
Y'all
and
three
kind of see
start
what's
to
going
go.
on, I'll be with both of you. I'm sorry, did you say you had something else going on with your device?
It's just the name Xavier was on.
I don't know who the hell that is. But we're also standing in the servant slave quarters where there's no records for those people. So,
And it's all about God.
oh yeah, you're in the holy city here. So, yeah, so you're going to get a lot of evangelical type stuff. So, yeah, expect that. All right, Mandy. Everybody else spread out.
All right.
Did you unmute?
Can I unmute now?
Oh yes, unmute for sure.
Good luck, friends.
Yep, it'll take a second to warm up. All right, so your device is picking up.
This is cool.
This is awesome.
What are we at now? Whew, that scared me. Okay, no. Am I supposed to ask?
I don't know. I didn't listen to your questions.
Where did the mansion go? Oh, that's fine. No, I think it's just the...
It's the dumpster.
It's a song. I'm connected to the radio. Okay, can y'all not walk away from me? Y'all follow us.
You guys.
Ew!
Bless you.
Thanks.
Where's that one?
Where did the mansion go?
How did it disappear? What happened?
When did the mansion go away?
What asked specific questions?
This is. No, it's not. This is cool. I'm a little spooked. Oh, that's her. I got scared. I was like, Talk to me, ghost.
Did they get away?
That was like, give me a word.
Oh, that's them.
Will someone come look at this, please? Oh, well, no, it's gone. Oh, there we go. It looked like someone was leaning up against that.
Maybe.
I'm really scared. Is somebody there? Eliza, what day did the mansion go away? Look, come back. Are you sure it's not Daddy? Yeah, no, I'm sure. Okay, I'm done. I want to go home. No way. Eliza, are you here? Oh, I can't ask yes or no questions. Okay, I'm done. It looked like something was leaning up against the dumpster. Right, there it is. So there. Oh.
It might be the dumpster.
Eliza, what happened to the mansion? Is that the police?
I didn't get any questions.
I feel it. She wants to. You got it, Eliza. Spit it out.
Did you have a 6-minute
Angelica, is that you? You can't anger the ghosts. Are we making you angry? I think that's a yes.
I got nothing. I went up to
We got 21.
I got
That's
up
good.
to 21.
Hello. Eliza, what happened to the mansion? How did you die? That's not her question. Oh. Well, she said she was open about it. Got anything? No. Eliza's trying to talk to me, but she's not. Eliza's shy, I think. Don't be shy, Eliza.
Alright, that is weird.
I'm scared.
I think it's a raccoon.
Mommy! Okay.
We got a little 1 point. I got one.
Yeah, mine started talking.
I got 1 point, Olivia. But that was weird. When you picked that up, this went up, and she started talking.
Daddy. Mommy. when my thing picked something up, Daddy's went up and Lily started talking.
That's
I'm
what it
really
means.
scared.
30.4.
30.4.
Nikki!
Liza, I really want to see your initials. I want to know that you're here.
Come look at this one. Where is it?
Liza isn't here. Is anyone here?
We were supposed to ask that.
Someone here?
What happened to the mansion?
It's not a walkie-talkie, honey.
Oh, why is it like got spider legs? Why is she flexible? She can do the splits.
Yeah, come over here. Liza, are you?
Why is she dancing?
No, it always does.
She's dancing.
Liza's got
Ooh,
moves.
get it, girl.
No wonder she won't talk to y'all.
All right, how's our spirit box coming?
30.4.
We got nothing. Actually, she's sung a few times, but I can't
What
really
were
make
the
out any.
lyrics?
I don't know. It was kind of rumbling.
It's not easy to do, is it?
It's not easy.
30.4.
30.4.
Nice.
She's got
Question.
movement.
So is it normal for her to see movement and this spike at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
It just depends on what the movement is.
Oh, she scared it away. Yeah.
So what happened?
You
were recording, obviously, right?
Yeah.
She was dancing. Someone's doing like the stanky leg. Like it looked like a person dancing.
Yeah.
So
She
normally
was
that
getting
kind
into
of
it.
like big movement.
She is.
Yeah, it's probably picking up on the leaves above the wall over there. That's where the 3 points for the face are coming from. That's where I said like that's usually the false anomalies.
Yeah.
But if you have like a full blown like that looks like that, so point it back at Dad for a second. You see how he's up there? I'm waiting for somebody else to show up. I want to make sure I'm like matching height. So
Okay.
when you have something like that, yeah, could they be closer and they look taller? Yes, but more than likely it's picking up the leaves from that part of the tree over there to be able to make it look like a full-blown person.
Okay.
It'll also pick up the outlines of vehicles. The dumpster over here. You have a lot of contour over here, so the pallets are in front of the wall, but the wall is in front of the building. You see where I'm going? So this corner, a lot of people try to like, oh, I see something. I'm like, yeah, let's take a look before I'm going to call that anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe is it giving you a lot of like weird static, or is it just kind of like completely random?
It's kind of completely random.
Perfect. So let's give you a little bit more volume.
Okay. I can't understand what he's saying. What happened to the mansion? Why are you screaming?
Yeah, you two should stick close to each other all night.
Okay.
Just so
Perfect.
we are like open like that. That way we don't miss it on there.
Okay.
And you guys can kind of verify what you both heard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm vaping.
Perfect. Oh, no. You're
Not
good.
cool. I'm vaping. But this way, so in between spaces, you're not going to be recording, but you will be listening.
Okay.
So I know it's, kind of takes out the recording part of it, but this way, if you guys are just working together, that way you can help her verify what she just heard.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, ladies, you got anything else going on?
I got reunited with him.
Okay. He did die first. She died.
This is really cool. I'm just thinking.
What is he saying? I can't hear.
Because it's static.
Come this way.
Hey, Shawty. It's your birthday. Who, what? We're talking?
Forward and right.
Over here.
Yeah, because every colonial ghost knows what an emoji is. Did you see that? So stupid.
Letter without her initials or anything.
Huh. It's like, how did you die? What happened?
What happened to the mansion? What year did it go down? Don't video the car. Don't video the car. I don't care. Let him get out and beat me up. That's the tree. Why did it look? That was funny.
I haven't told you yet.
November 1st or 4th?
No. Is that what you heard? I would see your face like this one. 5.
Okay.
First or fourth? Or did you hear first or you heard fourth?
November 1st or 4th. Oh, what you got going on?
A lot of static is what I got going on.
Alright, this is actually pretty light going on here, so I think it's about time to call it. I think you had a few extra minutes to kind of like see what was coming through, and I only heard like 1 or 2 voices slipping in, so don't really think we have a whole lot. I mean, our EMF is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, we did get, 17, 26, 31. We had a 41, I believe it was.
34.
34. But I wrote them all down. So, again, some nights this actually starts to roll in together. Like, what the hell just happened again? So we did get the reunited with him. So I do like that piece. It just means we may have missed something in real time about that. Just go ahead and put you on mute at this point. The word list is really weak here, like so far. So there's really nothing like definitive that I can like give you guys a link for. So let's kind of cover the answers. Go ahead and hit your stop button.
I have a secret.
Okay.
And then I told you, it said we're agitated. What was it? We're agitated?
We are agitated.
Yeah, we're agitated. That's when we were coming across by the market there. And then and then it said I have a secret. That was the last I heard. And it's just all static.
Word list. What do we have?
Maze, myth, back, classic, enable, radical. Those on the wall.
Is that miss or mitts?
Miss, the MISS.
I have hot.
Hot. Hot. 90 degrees hot. That could also, where did you get hot at?
Just now.
Just now.
Just now.
Oh, interesting. That actually makes sense to our location as well. So we're going to count that as where you are versus where we are.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes
It just the last because I just turned it back up, so it just came.
Yeah. Just so you know, EMF in this location, we do have lampposts near us, so it would be a 7 on your end, and it's definitely going to be past that second green blinky light on your EMF reader. Just so you have an idea. The reason why I'm excited about the word hot here, yes, again, this is me excited. This is Philadelphia Alley, and we named it after a city that actually helped us out of our many, many fires that I've already told you about. So that's how Philadelphia Alley got its name. They helped us out financially. But this used to be called Duelers Alley, which is why we are here. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. This is the space I'm taking out this year. So starting Wednesday is when I'm going to slowly start working its way out as I research the space of where we're going to be going. The new space is going to hopefully connect us to a murder mystery that has never been solved here in Charleston. So I figured with all the murder mystery craze on podcasts right now,
I'm spending a lot of time here.
is that what you just got?
It just said, I have all static and then it just said that.
Clear as day.
Yes.
I do spend a lot of time here, and I probably spend way too much time here, especially since I got kicked out of here. Again, we're going to talk about that because that's actually going to explain why we go to the next location, the way the route goes. But that murder mystery is going to be pretty difficult to find because where the murder actually happened is out of bounds for tours. So I kind of have to find somewhere where that person is connected to see if I can actually see if that connection is going to make sense. But anyway, this is Philadelphia Alley, like I said, but it used to be called Dealer's Alley. Every ghost store that comes down here, which is every ghost store in town, they all tell the same story, but I'm going to give you different details because you're ghost hunting. You're not doing that campfire immersion. You're getting my point? So I'm going to give you some of those extra details. You're going to be looking for the initials RI specifically. So that'll make much more sense once I kind of get going with why we're here. Remember, we're here to stir shit up and then get the hell out of Dodge so we can go learn more about this person at the next location. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. By the way, are you recording?
Yes.
Perfect. You get a job later. She's like the one girl who showed up afraid, like she's doing exactly how to follow up. But he moves down here from Rhode Island. So he moves down, and by the way, his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So in the event that Lynda hears the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it down here all the time because it's part of his name. So with that said, he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. Wow, you both did it at the same time. Was it though? It's your family. No, anyways, she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. We are stirring it up. See, this is why I love what I do. But anyway, so he comes down to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start his medical practice down here, and he's going to prove that he's not after her cash. On his way into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver, right? Because he's trying to kill you. But anyway, he's got a gunman inside, but somebody is walking by and sees what's about to happen. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. That's why we have that Ouija board device. I was getting RI all the time on Lynda's device. No, it wasn't from Arizona. Yeah, now you're giving me too much. So we're going to have you slow down just a little bit. Just a hair. I know you're excited, Tourette syndrome, but we got you.
It's so funny because it's all static, and then all of a sudden it's like this one word will come out, and it's like, all right, maybe you're supposed to hear this. I don't know.
Way to this blindfold session, everybody. This is going to be a good time. So, just so you guys have an idea. You're going to have a great time with this blindfold session. Are you ready?
So excited.
No, you're not. She's freaking out over there, everybody. That's what that smile means. All right, so back to, where was I? Ralph Isaacs, right? No, you're good. Or was that what you just heard?
No. I'm saying
It's hard to tell with you sometimes. Sometimes it's actual conversational, and then you're like, I'm so sorry, but Jesus is with them all. I'm like, what is happening right now? So, that jokes, everybody. That's the point. Have a good time. The driver almost looked like he was going to try to drive down here and then kind of just curved away.
it was Marshall. We had this Uber driver.
Did he try to kill you?
Oh, he was interesting.
Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and then you'll be safe and good to go. Doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more he's, proving his point that he didn't, he's making more money. Amanda gets wind that he's making his own money, and she's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the whistling doctor. What I will tell you is that every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. I'm just going to point that out. Ours just happens to be a doctor. And we're going to talk about those whistles later on. But Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy that we have here. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought she was great, but Ralph didn't. And the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. He's going after his girl now, right? So kind of a jerk move. And they go their separate ways because it got really heated. But I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of you're a disgrace to society. It's kind of like somebody posting something on Instagram that's really nasty about one of them. All right, same principle. So the doctor saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dealer's Alley. We're going to settle this and somebody's going to die. All this over an actress, by the way. I'm just going to start, show you how that argument started. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, and Doctor points his gun in the air and shoots his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend, which is often what happens at a duel. He just needed the courage to show up, right? But Ralph has his one bullet still, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doctor doesn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off and not willing to forgive. So Doc falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. So we are very close to that date, are we not? So remember that 10 days later, that duel would have occurred on the 23rd of October. So again, we're still not far away from that date either. So I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we think of as a gunshot wound now. He also refused medical treatment. He's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But he died because he failed, right? So every dose sort of comes down here. It tells you to listen for the whistles. We're running one video camera plus my voice recorder. We're going to capture a whistle. It's going to come up on one of mine or Olivia's devices, right? So with that, it's not that we haven't gotten the whistling parts of songs and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. So I've gotten it tons and tons of times. That thing is meant to try to scare people too.
Okay.
So there is some spooky terms in there.
Okay.
So, and not to mention, we are next to a church. So
Yeah.
to each their own. Depends on how you look at it. But anyway, so whistling, like a whistling part of a song, like moves like Jagger, and then you hear doctor, go see your doctor today. You know, from the end of a commercial, happens again. Coming here for 4 years, that's part of the reason why I'm retiring the space. We get it all the time. The number 59 shows up here because that was the doctor's address. There's another clues about that address that I'm not going to disclose, just because they will occur. You know, probably 3 out of 7 nights a week. So not as often as stuff I get out of the Pinckney Mansion site, but quite often enough. But by the way, go ahead.
7-7? Is that anything?
I was waiting for it. Are you ready? We get it here probably 6 out of 7 nights a week. And it's like, it's not always together like what you just heard, like 7-7. We will normally get double sevens. So, and I do have 2 of those devices. So if, let's just say Lily was running hers at the same time, you would have a 7 and so would she. It might not be the same one, it might be minutes apart. It's the doctor's birthday, July 7th. 7-7. So congrats. You got one. Like, I love how she's like, are you sure that's not? You know, but yeah, we get it all the time. There's stuff I don't disclose on purpose. This is why I don't tell you everything I know about the space. But if you're going to try and walk through this alley all the way on your own and use the voice recorders on your phones to try to capture those whistles when you're not with me, because again, I can't take you all the way down there, just remember that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Carmel Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it pretty much every morning. So when I'm done with your guys' data, my office is over here. My garage used to be over here, so I had to pass the alley, and I'd always throw a whistle down the alley. Sometimes I get one back, and it happened actually a few times. I just wasn't recording to prove it to myself. So, however, if you do try this, and you go all the way to the end, I'm going to tell you why I got kicked out of here. So the alley, the way we came in, did not always go all the way through that way. There was a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. And that's because this is where they used to keep the livestock. So a bunch of cows and chickens used to be down here. And they had to block them in. So this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So what does that mean for you guys? That means that the bricks on the other side, down by Queen Street, are older than the ones we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through here when I first started doing this. Not because it's something paranormal, because I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. He's probably at home with his mama somewhere, right? November 26th of 2020, I will remember that date forever in my brain. My entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen. I was just doing it as a history piece. And it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. I didn't know that. So the new owner of that mansion came out. He was screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at, and it was hysterical. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked for the largest retailer and upper management. I don't do Thanksgiving because you all like to fight over towels. Yeah, I was that guy who had to design where you guys were going to fight over towels. So the next day was the 28th of November. These dates are relevant. You're going to see why here in just a minute. I called my partner up that I had at the time that actually brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened. He laughed at me just like my daughter did. And he basically said, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, you're out of bounds because it's residential down there. So you got to reroute your group. What I told my group that night, because it's Black Friday, and I'm sold out again. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. I've never had anything happen at the next location. Obviously, we're going to be discussing pirates next. So basically, before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So, hi guys. Come on.
Hi.
It's almost a full night. You just missed it.
No, we were here. It was Saturday night.
So, So I was kind of like, okay, maybe we're going to get something about this Anne Bonny. However, we get up and around the corner. I told them the little bit I did know about pirates in Charleston, because remember I had about 6 hours to do research and try to figure this out. Somebody else with this weird box heard the number 300. I don't know what that means. I wrote it down. I did the research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So that's normally the look I get, is the one that Mandy just gave me, and I was actually pissed off. Let me tell you why. I actually have a master's degree in creative writing, and all of my other degrees are in writing as well. Even when I'm writing fiction, I still like facts and data. When I'm doing this, like researching, it has to be facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which were written 100 years after the alleged occurrences. This is a problem for me. What does that mean? I have to read a shit ton of books to make sure like what we're doing is a legitimate experience. I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life. I still play video games with pirates in them. I watch documentaries, TV shows, you name it. I always love the different versions of the story. Where we're going next, what I'm going to be telling you is a 50-50 roll of the dice if Anne Bonny will actually be there, and I'll explain why once we get there. But everything I will tell you came from a minimum of 2 resources. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's a fun story. It's a crazy-ass story. But at the same time, she may not even be there. We might have something coming over from the bleed over from Big John's. I'm very excited about your double sevens that you have, so I'm pretty excited about that. And there was something else very relevant that you said earlier, and I'm going to have to remember what the hell you said because you've given me too much. Do you have anything crazy going on with your...
Yeah, so I had, after the exorcism, it said control. It just went peanut, weird, and lover, like, together.
Anything dealing with... We're going to be discussing the lovers of Anne Bonny. That's what makes the story so interesting. So, like, last night we were leaving here, and we immediately had the word sex. So they all started chuckling, and I was like, nope, actually relevant. I promise you. So I will keep it PG-13, Mom, don't worry. So
I ain't worried.
I do my best, because, again, family-friendly, right? But we will get weird things about genderism as well. We're going to be talking about a woman that was fighting oppression towards women. So, I mean, she was a pirate. So we're going to be discussing her, so expect a lot of those female terms as well. So, the gate before we leave. There's a reason why I stopped here. Not a whole lot of people know why this gate is here. Remember, this also shows you the extent of my research. The alley, remember, did not go all the way through, right? Because this was where they kept the cows and chickens. So when it turned into Dueler's Alley, and there was a loser down there, this was the shortcuts to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they had to lug that body all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to basically drag a dead body. So they created this. Obviously, the archway is original, but the ironwork was probably put there in the early 1900s when they started separating the land out here. So just kind of keep that in mind. But the alley does date back to the 1700s, obviously. So again, very interesting piece. Not a whole lot of people know why it's there. I call it the Death Gate, just because that's where all the dead people would have went through. Because there was a cemetery literally on the other side of the wall. Yeah.
And then running.
All right, you guys ready to learn about rated R pirates?
I guess.
All right,
Just
Lily.
got Soap, him, and Paula.
Who the hell is Paula? I don't know.
21.8.
21?
21.8.
I get excited about a 7. Take a 20. Dude, what are you doing in that thing?
Holding.
I know, right?
Holding it right.
And you guys were, who said that they were like a magnet? Did you guys say like that Mom was a magnet? Or was it that you guys said that Lynda was a magnet? I remember. One of y'all said that was like you were just like a magnet kind of thing.
I got Grave.
Grave? It's vague, but we are near a cemetery.
I've gotten R-I with a letter in between.
Nope. Sorry. I won't
So
take
it's
it.
like, okay, because I've had
Alright.
R-Y-I a couple of times. But that's it. I've never had R-I together.
Okay.
I've had act and
Oh.
live.
I like act because we discussed the play that they argued over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, see
so
where
I've
I got
had
Stevie
act and live. And C. S-E-E.
And you said live?
L-I-V. Didn't have an E on the end.
Okay.
What'd you get out of yours?
Okay.
Static. Should I unmute?
Yeah, we're going to be walking out of here, so let's get you unmuted. So just kind of keep in mind if we run into another tour and we have to cut through them, mute it up again.
Okay.
So you
Do I
seem to be
stop?
pretty good. Yeah, go ahead and give yours a well, I'm kind of going through the history here. You don't have to keep it on us directly, so you can either hold it to the side as you're kind of going through or ignore us completely. That's fine too. So this history can be, I try to breeze through it because it can be lengthy just to make sure we get all the details out. So what's going to happen here is we do have the whole lot, obviously, but we're going to be discussing that little tiny building up front there. Other tours like to cut through here, so really you're going to be the only one that I'm going to be watching to make sure you're not filming the tours cutting through. And by the way, for those of you that want to take pictures, if you go over like past behind that white truck and you look up at the steeple and you go landscape with your cameras, it's a perfect picture. We are past the full moon at this point, but we're still like pretty close. And you guys are, it's one night away from Halloween. That's a great pic to have. Sorry, I'll let you guys be tourists, right? So yeah, this is me dressed up. And when we go and blindfold people and it says paranormal investigator on the back and all the other tours are looking around, it's like, guns go. I'm like, yeah, you guys could have been doing this. So, right? So don't taunt them. I don't have a whole lot of friends here in town. I will be honest. When I started doing this, I was stealing a lot of business. Because I started off very cheap and I didn't have all of the crazy gizmos you guys have now. So it's kind of built up to this. And ever since then, like I noticed on my Facebook page, like some of my competitors are now following me. I was like, I noticed that this morning because I don't always like see who's following. And I was like, let me take a look. And I was like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that gal. So it's like it's almost they're creeping in on me to see what the hell I'm actually up to. That's why I'm excited to actually go to New Orleans because I think I'll actually have friends down there that'll help boost each other up instead of like I'm gonna get tours more than you. Because that's what it is here in Charleston. It's a lot of cutthroat. Yeah, I mean, there's like I said, there's 339 tours in Charleston, like ghost tours. It's just a ghost theme. You guys want to guess what number I am?
1.
No, I don't want to be number 1.
How many did you say?
339.
339.
No.
280.
5.
Oh, I thought you meant like from the start to beginning, not ranked.
You mean
Right.
ranked?
Oh,
You're ranked number 5? Awesome sauce.
And that's based on your guys' reviews.
I was about to say you had to because I mean, like you came up on best ghost tours. That's all I googled. Best
Yeah.
ghost tours
I
in
usually fall in
Charleston.
that top 10.
And yeah, like that's what it gave me. It gave me 10.
That's great.
this is way more
Good for
interesting
you.
than like just hearing stories.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the funny thing is the way I designed this
And
was,
I work.
is that, again, I mean, you guys been on ghost tours, like, or even a history tour where they tell you like 12 to 15 tales. And I make sure that every story we tell is completely different from the next. So we talked about a football player, we talked about a plantation owner, a duel, we're about to talk about a pirate, and I can't tell you what the last person is, but he's completely different than what we're going to be doing. When I say that, it's because when we do that blindfold test, I need the 2 people that are going to be underneath that whole experiment to not know anything about that location or who we're hunting. So now you guys know he was a he, so at least you have the gender. So I'll explain that before we leave. And Molly's looking at me like, what the hell is it? I'm so curious about this, but I know. Again, we're going to be discussing that little building. A lot of tours will come through here and just talk about the architecture of it and kind of move on. I'm going to be giving you, we're going to look at it at a much different perspective. So, and by the way, Brett, don't expect a whole lot. If you do get something, I'm stoked about a 2.5 in this information. Those are not crosses on that little building up there. Those are earthquake bolts. So if nobody's told you what those are yet, yeah. Those big metal rods on the side of the building,
Yeah?
they're turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, you can tighten those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You're absolutely right to look at me funny like that. So, but the reason I bring them up is because that's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. It was basically being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. That's why we're here. For those of you that don't watch the TV shows, which I think is pretty much most of you, they use this new device called a Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear with the EMF meter that Mandy has put inside of it, so that way the child that comes near it, it'll light up as soon as they come near. They use that because they're trying to attract the child to this because you will recognize it as a toy, right? So I want you to think of that premise of the same thing of what we're doing here. Anne Bonny would recognize this building because it was from her era. That's why we're here. This is what I call a familiar. We do have other buildings roughly around the same age as this building. Obviously not as old because this is the oldest, but she may be at this one of the other locations at the same time that we're here. So we don't know if she's going to be here or not. So we're going to learn a crazy bunch of shit about pirates that you never thought of before, and let's get into it. You guys ready?
Yeah.
The building
Would
took...
she be at the other side of the bridge?
Which bridge? You just heard the bridge?
At the other side of the bridge, when you were saying she might not be here, and it said at the other side of the bridge.
I don't know. I don't know what's
Like
supposed
I'm
to
saying, it's just all chatter, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden something just comes across. Like
Well, I just don't know if you're
weird.
really Looney Tunes and you're just rambling off Looney shit. You know, because again, you're saying these
take
things
us
as
to
if
the
they're
wrong
part of
spot here?
conversation.
Yeah.
You know, normally I can tell with
I'm
somebody.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like happening. You're saying it, and then it's coming across.
Because a lot of people just say other side of the bridge, and I know like they're not really talking like that. That's what they just heard. And she's like, "Would it be from the other side of the bridge?" And I'm like, "What?" So, sorry. Don't apologize. I think you're great, by the way. I love this. The fact that I get to laugh. This is why I like these smaller groups. So, by the way, have I screwed up anybody's name yet?
No,
No.
you're
Okay,
doing great.
all right.
That's impressive.
All right. Anyway, thank you. You're all characters to me. I'm a writer. Remember that. You're all going to be in a book someday.
Yes. You
Um,
can call me Lalo in your book.
That's what her grandkids call her.
Oh,
I'm a Lalo.
Love that.
Lalo.
And this is why he cannot differentiate.
like, what the hell's a Lalo? Did she just hear it? Is she just calling herself something? And then she's like going like this. I'm like, what is happening? All right. Building took 10 years to build. Sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? This history of Anne Bonny starts right in the middle of its construction. So 1708, try to follow me, there's a lot of twists. So I will slow down on those twists. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are y'all with me so far? Okay. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked him out of the damn country when there's no such thing as airplanes? So, Brett, be nice to her. She'll take you all the way up to Canada, and we have planes. It'll be a lot easier. Now, that being said, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, if you're not familiar with the coast. Dad bought a plantation up there in Georgetown, but Mom dies quickly, which means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation and help keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even back then. They say when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is going to be super exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly all show up on 3 different devices and nobody knows what the hell is going on. So, fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So, that's what she's after. First guy she falls in love with. I said first because, like I said, there's many lovers of Anne, and we're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so good. First guy is James Bonny. I know we had the name James earlier, a little too far away from us, from where we are now, so I wouldn't find that relevant at where we found it earlier. Anyway, James is a filthy pirate, and Dad does not approve. So Anne and James run away to Jamaica and get married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. So this isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually is. Now, Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? And keep it family friendly.
A lot of competition.
No. Bad luck.
Oh.
Exactly.
I was with
So I said, I normally would, just based on our audience tonight, it was kind of like, we definitely need to keep it family friendly. Because a lot of times I get some really nasty answers. It's just women screaming out rape. I'm like, wow, slow down. But anyway,
That's what I thought.
but I get people that actually do that. Rape? I'm like, there's other toys around, stop. But anyway.
Keep my reviews up.
I know, right? Or don't let the other teams come running over. Like, are you okay? But anyway, he makes a deal with her. Did you just hear Mentos? We're just making sure.
I heard he was nice.
He was nice. Okay. Well, Jack was a captain of a pirate ship, so we'll see how nice he was. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. Let's put 2 and 2 together. Most of us are adults here. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show her pregnancy and say,
95.4.
Came up there.
You just went up to 95.4.
get the hell out of here.
Okay, but it's still going to be there when you go back and look at it.
I can't go back and look at it. I have to rely on you.
Oh,
and
it
what
was
you're telling me.
95.4.
Holy shit balls. That's a lot.
And you
Wow.
had Cuban up there.
Okay.
I had Coop, C-O-U-P, Cuban, and Major. All of them here.
I don't know what the coop is. That's an interesting piece. He drops her off in that Cuba. These are friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby. It returns without a baby. We have no idea what the hell happened to the child. None of my research and all the damn books I had to read on piracy never told me. Just so you know, if you get a direct answer, that's personal to you. I just can't prove it. She comes back, no baby. Again, like I said, but she's dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now everybody's gonna know he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, because you already know the mentality of this young lady, she fills servants with knives to the belly. She's gonna go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females trying to be pirates on the same ship, dressed as males. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So I'm giving you a lot of things that are heard on spirit boxes, by the way. Anne and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We don't really know for sure because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flames. So obviously 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns are not going to work very well against the whole fleet of Navy ships. So they get arrested. And as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, Bo, and she says, "Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." So the word dog shows up on your spirit boxes quite a bit here. So kind of keep that in mind. The judge wants to see the 2 men, quote unquote, that fought not so violently on their own. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and his drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. So the 2 ladies go in front of the judge and they reveal their gender. They're hoping to save themselves. The judge does not give a shit that they are girls or females. They're still pirates, so he's still going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies." They're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So the judge sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. So she remarries, and actually, that's, by the way, that's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know for sure, right? She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 82. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know much about her after her pirate career that we can't just speculate about. So, again, up for grabs. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books would tell you that it was something simple like fever. Let's call it something romantic like scurvy. Why the hell not? So, bumpy, gross, and nasty. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to assign questions here. I'm just going to tell you a few pieces that I left out of the history on purpose. And this is also not a prominent English woman like Eliza Pinckney. You can kick in the shins a little bit to try to get some answers out of her. So again, you don't have to tiptoe like Eliza Pinckney. Now, here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I didn't tell you what those names were. I also did not give you the name of Calico Jack's ship. The city where Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. So everything else is fair game. Ask whatever the hell you want to in here. Some of it I can prove, most of it I can't. So it just depends on what you guys are asking and the responses that you guys get out of it. What was the number again for you?
95.4.
95.4, thank you. That was correct. That is crazy. I don't know where the hell that came from. I don't think I've ever had anything that high over this. So that is like crazy. Alright, yes, she's already unmuted. Let's do this. Let's spread out. You know what we're doing. You guys are professionals.
What were you supposed to ask? There's some music. Hey girl, what's up? Hey, what color hair did you have? You strike me as a red hair kind of gal. I was gonna go blonde. Maybe nice and badass red. Oh, listen. What was that girl's name? Anne? No, the other one. The one that she made mine or my Mary? Were you in love with Mary? Oh, hello. And what was the name of Jack's ship? Come on, Anne. Oh, Lily. Oh, wait, that's my shadow. Hee hee. That was funny. That's... What was it? Oh,
Her look for ABMR. But the fact that you have misses, I told you.
spot down.
Girls don't like me.
You got in some good activity. I haven't seen any ghosts.
Remember, he's gonna watch it back over like 2 to 3 times. So he said that's when we're seeing them. And Bonnie, what color was your hair?
We already asked that.
It was blonde.
It sings a lot over here.
Who's singing?
Will you hold that for a second, bud? Oh, it's the sign.
That's cool.
Where did she go?
To her thing.
Hey, girl. Anne, what color was your hair? I want to know what you looked like. I bet she was pretty. Me too. I get lots of activity in this area. Anne, what happened to your baby?
What do we got going on with yours?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
Nothing.
Are you serious? Like no words, no. You haven't heard anything all night. They don't like me.
The ghosts were scared of me.
They don't.
I think I intimidate them.
You look like you intimidating.
Yeah.
All like 60 pounds of you?
Yeah.
And any other crazy terms from you? We did get the word misses.
Yeah, and I just got bear. B-E-A-R.
Maybe the baby got eaten by a bear.
We're missing a letter. Do you have the letter D?
Not currently, but I might have, but I didn't. I've had the word B, B-E-E, that was the only thing.
Because I have black, and also used to be black beer.
Bear. D. Black bear.
But you did a while ago, you said you had the
Probably. I've had
Yeah.
like every letter.
Yeah, it's not on the screen right now because I want to basically to
Yeah.
Yeah.
so weird. I'm saddened for you because I was really hoping that was going to come up with something out of there.
I think it's better signal.
It does have an antenna. So funny. Anything crazy on the camp
No.
that you can see? The ivy wall is going to show like a bunch of army men, just so you know, because remember we talked about the leaves. Yeah. I normally warn you guys, like, don't worry about the ivy wall with that camera. And as far as yours, Brett, the closer you get to these two corners, the electrical poles, parking meters, so it's normally that back half. So when you had that back there, that's why I was like, what?
All right.
So that's why I was like, what do you have now, Annie?
Oh, no,
That's a yawn. It just looked like you were like astonished at something.
No, I still don't have a D.
Like it spelled out stories in the cemetery. Like, all right, good job. I programmed it well. No colors showing up on your other device either.
No.
This is your space. So we have one here, so we'll cover that. I was really hoping that Lily's device was going to give us something here.
Come on, ghost.
I know, right?
Say, talk to me.
You know, it's funny. 'Cause
Lillian, it's okay.
this used to be the last stop, and one of the first nights I was using that spirit box, testing it out, unpacking things up, and we had a light night, like super light.
Well, that's great.
But I took that device from that person, and it said pirate, plain as day. Didn't say a word all night long, and it wasn't. And I gotta remember, all of my degrees are in like phonetics, lexicon, words, language. So this was not like the Pittsburgh Pirates won the game kind of thing. This was pirate. I'm like, all right. And luckily enough, we were standing close enough to a person with a camera, so we caught the audio from the camera, and I was able to slice it out of there and just give them that audio. So it was really cool stuff. I was really excited for that. Somebody was singing. We did get sing song.
Yes.
That was super weird.
Yeah.
Because to me that reminds me of sea shanty, right? So I mean it's vague, but I do like the fact that Mrs. showed up, and I did say we were going to get a lot of female gendered terms and phrases because of who we're dealing with. Anything else crazy out of you?
No.
Just the usual out of crazy Lynda.
Yeah, I mean, you hear just like little things, like you really should, and it's just like,
Yeah.
but it doesn't.
Where do we do the next location? All right, let's get you muted because we got to give you another job. Let's go to the wall. Was it?
Hack?
No.
Am I stopping recording?
Yeah, might as well stop it.
I'm hearing the cricket. Yeah.
I hear like a dee-doo-dee-doo.
You're in the video.
No, I hear it too.
Guys hear it now?
I still just hear the cricket. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
No, we hear it too.
Okay. All right. So I have a quick weird sense of humor, like it's dead silence, like literal crickets.
You're like,
And then I'm like, oh, this is a rough crowd. So, first time I came in here, remember I've only been coming here for a year because this is the new space. I only had 2 people. It was cold that night, and everybody canceled except for 1 couple. Spirit box was running, and the young lady heard the name Henry in the year 1828. I was using the word list Beck was using, and I had the name Tim. Behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod, born in 1828. I shit you not. I was like, oh, hot damn, there's my ghost. Here's his very quick story, and then we're going to go talk to them too as if they are Henry Timrod. The man was sick through most of his life, and he was a writer. Word. So that's where I get excited about that kind of stuff. Now, with that, because I always ask him to tell us about his occupation to kind of break the ice a little bit. But anyway, being born in 1828, he's obviously old enough to go fight the Civil War. So he goes to fight, and he goes out to the battlefield, but his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home being, they knew he was a writer. They say, go be the voice of the war. Go tell people what's going on out here. He came home and started writing poetry about what was happening on the battlefield. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. It's a pretty prestigious title, so in case you're not familiar with the writing world. So a couple years go by, he has a son. His son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, but he dies 9 months later on October 23rd of 1865. October 23rd, just a few days ago, right? So couple of years go by and he's not writing as much. So he has another writer friend that realizes he's not writing as much as what he normally does out to his newspaper that he works for. So he says, go use my cottage in Columbia, and you can get back on track and leave your wife Katie behind to mourn with her parents that were here visiting. So Timrod goes out to that cottage and he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which means dear person with a short life. And then he coughed and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis and he died right there on the page. Now we are here because that blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. We call it the Blood Book. They show it one day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society, and you have to be a member of that library society to be able to go see it in person. But the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Lynda as if she's Henry Timrod. So I will tell you as I kind of bring this up, we are going to stay pretty close and tight, just like this when they are under. Get out of here.
What did it just say? Tight.
Tight.
Oh god, that's scary.
I may ask real-time questions like, what are we hearing from the church? That happens every 10 to 15 minutes. And when I say we're going to stay nice and tight, you're going to be filming the entire thing.
Okay.
So that way, I'm sure, Lily's going to want it for social media kind of stuff. So, yep. So, and again, it's under glass because obviously it's tuberculosis. It's a disease. But to me, this tells the whole story. Dear person with short life, cough, cough, death. And that's his legendary mark that he leaves forever. And he died at the age of 38. So, again, if I ask a question where I'm pretty sure I know you don't know the answer, I will turn around and tell you guys what the answer is, just so you guys have an idea in case when Lynda does say it, it's an oh shit moment. So kind of keep that in mind. But you're gonna film them the entire time. We have, like we already talked about EMF in here. I want you to also to keep an eye on your word generator and the Ouija board, because if Lynda's not going to give me the answer, it has been known to come up there.
Okay.
So I will tell you, like if I ask Henry what sound did we just hear, we've had bells here, and I've had bells, B-E-L-L-S, spelled out for us as an answer directly after. Like, can't make this stuff up, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's pretty timid. October has been very tame, just because he died in October and his son died in October. It's a month of mourning for him. I will tell you, last night it did ramp up quite a bit. So it was very conversational, not a whole lot I could prove, but it was definitely a lot of clues to like what was being said out loud. So, you guys ready for this craziness?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Alright, let's do it. Can you lift up her earmuff till they're half a notch higher?
Can you do it louder?
You don't need to hit any buttons in here, just watch the gray smoke. If you need to focus, there's a dial right. Wow, that thing is like really big on you. 4 weeks. Henry, can you come forward?
It looks like blood. Is that normal?
Yes. No, that's a picture that you're seeing. You need to describe it.
Oh, it's like on wood, probably, and there's a lot of blood.
1975.
So would that be maybe sitting on top of a desk?
I think so, yeah.
Just getting my point?
Mhm.
Okay. Henry, thank you for showing us that.
I think it's a lifetime.
It was a lifetime for you, huh? Can you tell us how old you were? You're like diving right in. Did she just say Susan?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who Susan is.
I just got friends.
Do you want to talk about your friend whose cottage you used where that actually occurred? That's a yes/no question. Let's try to tell. See if that is one. Can you tell us the name of the friend whose cottage that you went out to?
He cried out.
Where did he cry out? Henry, what was the name of your friend? He was also a writer. Can you tell us his name?
Starting a new job.
Starting a new job. Henry,
1162.
Henry,
Speak the hell.
told you sometime. Had a rough night. What is it?
I just said I want to.
Oh, you may get like, we've had up to 10, but the average is about 4 for the 10-minute session.
Okay.
And there's been nights where I haven't had any, where he was just like, no, talk. Henry, I didn't even introduce these young ladies to you. So this is
In
like
1800.
18 what? lot of events that happened in your life in the 1800s. I need something more specific. This is Lynda. She's the one who can hear you. This is Lily.
Number 2.
They got her name right.
Witchcraft.
Nah, it's not witchcraft. It may look like witchcraft to you, but it's not. This is just technology for us. We've done this plenty of times, Henry.
Your education.
Henry? No, we're past the weekend. We are
Nonsense.
we're almost out of October. Can you tell us what's so significant about October for you? Tomorrow's Halloween.
And they gathered in my
She's actually doing really well. Like, I'm not getting a whole lot, but Henry.
using
Lily, just shout them out when you get 'em. Don't fall asleep in the Cuban cigar smoke. The other one is just black. I really didn't want you guys just falling asleep in there.
Yeah.
Henry, did you bring somebody else here with you today? That's a yes/no question.
Oh. There's like, oh, I don't like that.
What is it?
Well, what is it?
It's like a monster looking thing.
Okay, we've been getting a lot of those monster.
She has like a really big eye and one normal looking eye. And she has like her hair looks like kind of like a sun. But also she's also kind of bald. And she's pink and blue and orange.
I'm telling you, what do you guys see?
why don't you?
Henry, we don't understand this image we just saw, and it's probably not relevant.
She had like a rock on her head too.
The seniors right
Oh, she's
now?
going now. Okay, Henry, that was too
Seniors right
specific.
now.
She is.
Everybody needs somebody.
Henry, is somebody else here with you that may need to say anything? It's okay if there is. I know October is very mourningful for you.
Obey.
Come with respect, Henry. Again, these folks are just trying to learn more about you. I know you think that Halloween is just kind of like one of those spooky things that people do around Charleston. Because that's when they show your work.
Didn't know what to do.
Henry, I need you to push through and let me know if somebody else is here.
Captive is Jed?
Henry, can you tell us when your son was born? Can you tell us his birthday? Let's talk about something happy. We don't have to talk about the month of October. Let's talk about something else happy. Tell us when your son was born.
Hold between.
Cold between. We're looking for a date. I know it was a holiday.
It's not about.
Tell us the holiday where your son was born.
No goodwill.
Goodwill. The son's name? Willie. It's vague, but it's there.
Anything you.
Give us more about Willie. I'll accept his birthday. If you want to also tell us where he's buried. October. Back to October again. What date in October do you want us to know about? It's been about 5 minutes so far, just so you guys have that idea. It's gonna feel like 2 minutes for her. Like when she comes out, I normally ask them how long they think they were under. The average is between like 2 to 4 minutes. How's our word list going? Anything crazy?
So when you're talking about Willie, I got liberal, and then bacteria came up. Consider, resign, lock, shelter, Kaylee.
I missed that phrase. What was it?
Started haunting you.
I am an ambassador.
Who's the ambassador that's here? Which ambassador is here? There's several relative to this location or nearby this location that I haven't heard from you here before. Ellie, you awake?
Yes.
Okay. When I don't hear from them, I gotta check on them.
Potentially.
Henry, let's go back to Willie for a second. Can you tell me who he's
And it
named?
goes on.
Can you tell me who he's named after?
That's why educating is so important.
Well, I know what the answer is, so I'm educated about this topic. I'm still looking for verification that you're here so these folks can learn more about you. Who is your son Willie named after?
He didn't choose.
I know he didn't choose, you did. I will accept his occupation as the answer. So he was named after Henry's father, who was a bookbinder. We've had book and binder show up on your word list here before. Henry, tell us what sounds we're hearing right now. What sound is coming out of the church, please? You can give us an image. Lily's waiting. She's going to doze off in there. Can you tell us what sound we just heard out of the church?
It's
Followed by what?
Swell.
I like the word bells. That's what I'm waiting on. Henry, what sound did we hear? Henry, we're down to about 2 minutes. You know this takes a large toll on us.
walked out.
So who's here then if he left?
Yeah, tourism.
There's no tours in here right now. It's just us. Wait till tomorrow. It's gonna be flooded. Just take advantage of the fact that you don't like crowds.
Harvest.
I'm really waiting on one more image to pop up before I go ahead and call this. I think we've only had 2, right, Lily?
Yeah.
Henry?
Some strangers and tourism.
Yeah, strangers, tourism. When we have like 4 or 5 other tours in here, nothing happens. Either they super struggle, that's when we've gotten to 0 pictures, like nothing happens.
It's not into it.
Yeah,
Doesn't
he just
like.
does not like. And like last night, for example, there was like a little party going on over here,
Mhm.
and he said 2 loud neighbors.
It's Johnny.
Like-
107.
Hey, it's Tony 107, is what she just said. No relevance, just telling you what she said. But
Because
they,
you understand.
I do understand, and I'm just trying to get more knowledge about you. You know, I read your work. You know, I respect it. It's not my style; it's your style. But I have read most of it. Do you want us to go home? That's a yes/no question.
It's got waste there.
North and
Cannot.
south.
Wasting cannot.
Cannot.
John. Who's John? Henry, we're gonna wrap this up. Can you tell us goodnight? I was trying to give you an opportunity.
Track me down.
Yeah, I know where you're at. You're not here, you're where your work is. Can you tell us where your work is being held? I know you know where it is. That place is haunted as well with you.
Getting away.
Let me know if you have the word library that shows up. Books? Anything? Really? Anything?
Nothing.
Dag nabbit. So we're in at about 11 minutes right now. So, yep, time and time again. Go ahead and tap her out.
12 pass.
Do I take this off?
And passed. Yep, go ahead and peel it off the face. Let's take a look at these craziness. Hour? Right at the same time she said time and time again and
Yeah.
passed? Nice. Okay, don't get up, either one of you. You look like you're perfectly fine. How are you feeling?
Fine. I have a little bit of headache.
Okay, let's seeing you like shaking your head a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like, ooh.
Sometimes
It's
it
like
jumps in
coming
real
out.
quick,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let's
Made me
take a look at
tired looking at all that smoke.
Really?
It can be disorienting. I don't need baby giraffes falling down.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys are going to stay seated as we kind of take a look at these images, and it looked like something else was about to pop through.
That second image, I didn't know what was
Did you
going
see anything?
Mm-mm.
No. Let me
This-
get a
I
dream.
don't know what that is. So this is the image that just popped up, just so you guys know. Like, it almost looks like army stuff, like something in a desert. Like, I have no
Yeah.
idea what this is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So that's definitely not. Wow.
That's what popped up. And I was like, what is going on?
mackerel.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is the image that she just saw.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said. She goes, I don't like it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I mean, I see peacock stuff in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm gonna have to like pick it apart to see if there's anything
Yeah.
relative to it. The cool thing is like stuff like this. When I don't know what it is, we have Google Lens. I'll put Google Lens on this, and
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
tell me like where a knife came from, what era, like that kind of thing. It's really cool. So, and again, these images have never been seen. They were just generated. Last but not least, this was the first thing you saw, which is what we were all excited about. So,
Blood?
yeah,
Oh, that's creepy as heck.
I know we get this kind of stuff here all the time.
That's creepy.
Just so you know. All right, so quick explanation for the two of you, just so you know what you're kind of dealing with. I don't normally give you the full story, so you're going to wait for the regular audio. We're dealing with a writer who died of tuberculosis. So he was very young, but he actually coughed up blood on the last page he was ever writing, and it looks like a man writing at his desk. So that's why I asked you, was that wood? Does it look like a desk? So we did. I'm going to count that we did have 3 images coming through. Though I feel like we had a whole lot going on here, not really. Like I didn't feel like this was a conversation. I was hoping to get a lot more out of you because I was actually asking different questions. I don't normally ask like who is your son named after type of questions. I mean, I would take the word father. I would take the word William. Grandfather, because it would have been the grandson's grandfather. You guys get that point. But you did say a couple of things where it actually made sense. Like right at the end, I asked if he wanted us to go home, and you said something like time and time again.
Time and time again.
And then you said something.
You said
about
I'm
the
wrapping
word
it
past.
up.
Yeah, I'm
You
wrapping
said-
it up, and you said time and time again. The word hour showed up on the word list, and then you said something about the past. Like we were actually past the time of 10 minutes, so you were under for about 11. Just so you know, because again, guy knows.
Right.
So, did we get any readings whatsoever?
No, not
No.
that
Okay, I know you were like laser focused over here too.
Yeah,
like
no, I
you've been
kept
like,
looking. Mm-mm.
so no words actually showed up. But you can actually stop your camera, by the way.